Good morning, everybody. Kurt Risch here, and thanks for joining me on the One Shepherd, where we support seekers and believers. So this morning, we are picking up with our Old Testament reading of Genesis chapter 22. We're going to start out by reading the word study right in the middle. The word we're looking at is heavens. The Hebrew for that is shemayim, and the Strong's Concordance number is 8064. The Hebrew word for heavens may refer to either the physical heavens, the sky, or the atmosphere of earth, or to the dwelling place of God, the spiritual heaven. The expression is probably derived from a word meaning to be high or lofty. To describe God as living in the heavens is to describe his exalted position over all people. The physical heavens testify to God's glorious position and also to his creative genius. Thus the heavens and the earth and all of the host of them were finished. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. This is the history of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, before any plant of the field was in the earth, and before any herb of the field had grown. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the earth, and there was no man to till the ground, but mist went up from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. So we're going to look at this little article here, God as Creator. God created the heavens and the earth. That's Genesis 1:1. These words form one of the Bible's principal assertions about the material world, that God created it all. The first two chapters of Genesis present two complementary accounts of creation, and then we also see in Psalms 104 and Proverbs 8 two additional accounts. Genesis 1 pictures God in a sublime terms and grand and awesome. The Hebrew term used for deity in this section is Elohim. That speaks of God's majesty, sovereignty, and awesome power. With a mere word, God spoke the entire universe into existence. When he finished, he called every part of his creation very good. In Genesis 2, on the other hand, presents a more personal picture of creation. It focuses on the creation of man and woman, the only beings in creation who reflected the very image of God. In this section, God's personal name, Yahweh or Lord, is used rather than his title, God. This is because God personally shaped Adam from the dust of the earth, breathing life into him, and forming Eve from Adam's flesh and bone. Moreover, the section depicts God placing Adam and Eve in a beautiful garden and interacting with them. Of course, these two chapters are not written in terms of modern science, but neither are they written in what would have passed for science in ancient times. If the Bible had been written in the scientific language of the day, it would be a little more than a relic today. Had it been written in scientific language in the Middle Ages, it would have been a mystery to its readers and nonsense to us. Had it been written in the scientific language of our own day, it would have been unintelligible to prior generations and, to be sure, a relic in future years. These first chapters of Genesis reveal God's identity as a creator in language that makes sense to every sort of audience. The chapters spoke first to a people on the move at the dawn of Hebrew history. Over the ages, they have spoken to ancient and medieval peoples, and today they speak to people from all backgrounds. The modern person sometimes wonders why the language is not more precise. Yet these chapters do not aim at precision. Their aim is clarity concerning one certain truth. God created the heavens and the earth. All right, let's go ahead and continue with verse 8. The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted and became 4 riverheads. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one which skirts the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and onyx stone are there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one which goes around the whole land of Cush. The name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is the one which goes toward the east of Assyria. The fourth river is the Euphrates. Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded them, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. And the Lord God said, It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. Out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every bird of the air, and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatever Adam called each living creature, that was its name. So Adam gave names to the cattle, to the birds of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper comparable to him. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh in its place. Then the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, he made into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked. The man and his wife were not ashamed. Guys, that's it for my Old Testament reading of Genesis chapter 2. Thanks for joining me today. You can join me this evening as I continue with the New Testament reading in Matthew, or if you want to continue with Genesis, I'll be doing that again tomorrow. Again, have a great day, and God bless.